Hello, and welcome to Rapid Television's Week in Review, reaching you from our Abuja studio. In this package, we'll bring you some of the stories that made the headlines in the preceding week. I am Ishaku Yohana. Let's begin with the presidency, where President Bola Tinubu on Monday inaugurated the mechanized agricultural project in Niger State. The president also inaugurated the renamed Mina International Airport. The airport, formerly known as the Abubakar Imam Airport, has been renamed Bola Ahmed Tinubu International Airport by the state governor, Umar Bago. President Tinubu at the event expressed readiness to end the perennial farmers' herders crisis in the country and vowed to draw up programs that would end the crisis within 2 to 3 weeks. He, however, noted that state governors should provide lands that will help in facilitating the program. In another development, President Bola Tinubu has appealed to the 36 state governors of the Federation to begin paying the wage awards to workers in their states pending the determination of the new minimum wage in order to reduce the hardship of the economy on the people. The president noted that if the states implement the wage awards, it will provide the much-needed relief without causing inflationary pressures. He stated that all states needed to adopt the wage award, saying the Federal Executive Council will also adopt same. President Bola Tinubu has submitted the 2024 budget for the Federal Capital Territory Administration to the House of Representatives for consideration and passage. The letter seeking the passage of the budget was read on the floor of the House during the week's plenary by the Speaker, Tajuddin Abbas.
President Tinubu's letter, read by the Speaker Tajuddin Abbas, highlighted that the 2024 Federal Capital Territory Administration's budget proposal aligns with the constitutional provisions and focuses on revenue expenditure and development policies in line with the federal government's renewed hope agenda. The letter was, however, silent on the budget estimate.
The budget proposal takes into consideration the 2024-2026 Economic Recovery Growth Plan, as well as key assumptions in the 2024 Appropriation Act. The FCTA is prioritizing improvement in healthcare services, job creation, youth empowerment, and increased productivity in agriculture in order to lift as many citizens as possible out of poverty. I hereby forward the 2024 statutory budget proposal of the FCTA and trust that it will receive the kind consideration and expeditious approval of the House of Representatives.
After reading the letter, the Speaker directed that the request be forwarded to the Committee Appropriation for deliberation ahead of its budget passage. In another development, a motion of urgent public importance was moved by Haruna Gowan from Kogi State on the urgent need to curb the spate of security challenges being experienced across the state.
Urge the federal government through the Inspector General of Police to urgently mobilize more armored personnel carrier to Anigba to replace the one that was bombed. As it is currently, Mr. Speaker, the town is left porous for possible repeat of such dastardly act by the armed robbers and other forms of criminality.
The House therefore resolved to urge the Chief of Defense Staff to provide military presence that will safeguard life and property in the state. Meanwhile, the House of Representatives has urged the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, to direct banks to work on their systems in mitigating failed transactions and immediately reverts failed transactions within the stipulated period, whether or not the customers lodge complaints. The decision followed the adoption of a motion moved by Emmanuel Okpong Udo.
The Central Bank of Nigeria to direct banks to reverse customers' funds within the stipulated period, whether or not the customers lodge complaints. Mandate the committees on banking regulations, banking and other auxiliary institutions, Committee on Digital and Electronic Banking to liaise with the Apex Bank of Nigeria Interbank Settlement Systems, NIPS, to look into the issues and provide solutions.
The House mandated the committees on banking regulations, banking and other auxiliary institutions, and digital electronic banking to liaise with the Apex Bank and Nigeria Interbank Settlement System to look into the issues and provide solutions.
Similarly, President Bola Tinubu has sent a bill to the National Assembly seeking repeal of the current Student Loan Scheme Act and the passage of a new one. In a letter addressed to Speaker Tajuddin Abbas, President Tinubu said the action was necessary to ensure easy implementation of the scheme.
The letter by President Bola Tinubu comes less than 48 hours after the federal government announced the indefinite suspension of the student loan scheme, one of the first legislations he signed after his inauguration. However, the government has been struggling with the implementation of the scheme and has postponed its takeoff a couple of times, while 2 days ago, a top government official announced the indefinite suspension of the scheme. In the letter to the House of Representatives, President Tinubu says the new bill seeks to address the challenges related to the management structure of the scheme.
Pursuant to Section 58, subsection 2 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, I forward herewith the Student Loan Access to Higher Education Repeal and Reenactment Bill 2024 for the kind consideration of the House of Representatives. The Student Loan Access to Higher Education Bill 2024 seeks to enhance the implementation of the Higher Education Student Loan Scheme by addressing challenges related to the management structure of the Nigeria Education Loan Fund.
Also in the week, President Bola Tinubu has directed the opening of Nigeria's land and air borders with the Republic of Niger. He also directed the lifting of other sanctions against the country with immediate effect. President Tinubu's directive came just days after the ECOWAS Authority of Heads of States and Government lifted economic and travel sanctions on Niger, Mali, and Guinea. ECOWAS leaders had agreed to lift economic sanctions against the Republic of Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Guinea, which were emplaced after military takeover of governments in the 4 countries. The Federal Ministry of Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs has launched a 5-year strategic plan which it said will serve as the basis for all departments and agencies in the ministries to develop their activities. The ministry said the occasion marked the first time it has developed a strategic plan since its creation.
Unveiling and launching the plan at the Yar'Adua Center in Abuja, the Minister of Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs, Zafania Jizalo, described the plan as a proof of the ministry's dedication to its responsibilities of carrying out special assignments targeted at grassroots development and effective policy implementation.
This comprehensive 5-year plan, 2024 to 2028, stands as a proof to our staffers' dedication to advancing the transformative roadmap of our President. The Renew Hope agenda represents an unwavering commitment to rejuvenate our nation, guided by the set of principles firmly adhered in progress, innovation, and inclusivity. It is a vision that look beyond our current challenges.
While explaining that the activities of the ministry resonate with President Tinubu's Renewed Hope agenda, which he said aligns with the key principles of job creation, innovation, and economic growth, the minister also stressed that its strategies encompass supporting local production, reducing imports, supporting the farmers, nurturing emerging sector, empowering the vulnerable, and ensuring accessible healthcare, education, and housing.
Our focus aligns with the key principle of job creation, innovation, economy growth, social development, sustainability, and inclusivity, particularly the youth, the vulnerable population, to combat extremism and promote social security.
He said this underscored the importance of collaboration and partnership, enhancing the collective strength of government, businesses, civil society, and citizens alike. Irene Okechukwu, Rapid TV News, Abuja.
And now to the National Assembly. The Senate on Monday inaugurated an ad hoc committee to probe how the 30 trillion naira ways and means loans of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, was obtained and spent by the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari. The committee is also saddled with the responsibility of investigating the Anchor Borrowers Program under Buhari's administration. The Ways and Means is a loan facility through which the CBN finances the government's budget shortfalls. The inauguration of the committee was sequel to a report of joint committees on banking, insurance, and other financial institutions after an interaction with the federal government's economic management team. The Senate also held a rowdy session during the week over the budget pardon allegation leveled against it. Bauchi Central Senator Abdul Ningi had accused the Senate of pardoning the budget to the tune of 3.7 trillion naira. Senator Ningi had alleged that the National Assembly debated and passed 25 trillion naira as the 2024 budget and not the 28.7 trillion naira that is being implemented by the federal government. However, the Senate went into a rowdy session while the matter was being deliberated upon, and thereafter Ningi was suspended for 3 months. He also resigned as chairman of the Northern Senators Forum. Meanwhile, the uproar in the Senate degenerated further when Senator Jarigbe revealed that some senators were given 500 million naira as palliatives for their constituents, while others got 200 million naira. The revelation did not go down well with some senators, and a shouting match ensued, which the Senate President Godswill Akpabio struggling to restore order in the chamber. Now to politics. Senators from the southern part of Nigeria have revived their forum, electing Senator Adetokunbo Abiru, representing Lagos East, as chairman. This came barely 24 hours after a dramatic plenary culminating in the suspension of the chairman of the Northern Senators Forum, Senator Abdul Ningi. The inauguration of Abiru, who replaces the Senate leader Opeyemi Bamidele, as well as the vice chairman Victor Ume, representing Anambra, comes 9 months after commencement of the 10th Senate. The 51 senators from 17 southern states who met on Wednesday to revive the forum also elected 6 executives under Senator Abiru's chairmanship. The Senator Bamidele noted that, like the Northern Forum, the Southern Forum is not new but has been in existence since the 9th Senate, explaining that he was unable to provide the required leadership because of his new role as the Senate Majority Leader. Meanwhile, Senator Abiru has promised that the forum will serve as a cohesive tool to foster healthy discussions and analysis of national issues and work with the Northern Senators Forum to advance the country's fortunes. Away from politics, the House of Representatives has summoned Dangote, BUA, and other cement manufacturers in the country over what it described as arbitrary increase in the price of cement in the country. The summon followed the adoption of a motion moved by Gaza Jonathan at plenary on Wednesday.
Moving the motion, Gaza Jonathan Guilfrey noted that manufacturers of cement have increased the price of their products by up to 50%, leading to sharp hikes in building blocks, the cost of building, and consequently house rents in the country. He also noted that the raw materials for the manufacturing of cement are all sourced locally and not affected by exchange rate volatility.
The House is concerned that the manufacturers of cement have capitalized on exchange volatility to arbitrarily increase the price of the product, whose cost of production has not changed significantly since last year. He is also concerned that the cement cabal is inflicting hardship on Nigerians as the prices of rent and associated services have increased.
Speaking in support of the motion, Yusuf Gadi noted that with all the interventions by the federal government to make business easy for cement manufacturers, the hike in price was unnecessary.
The issue of unpatriotism affects almost every sector of our own economy, including the producers of this cement. Mr. Speaker, we are aware that cement is smuggled to Cameroon through Chad, Niger Republic. Mr. Speaker, go to Madagali in Adamawa State. You will see how these cements are produced for the purpose of sustaining Nigerian economy with the support of government-friendly policies that have helped these cement mafias to establish business and make money with the with the Nigerian economy, but they turned back to put the economy into shambles.
Consequently, the House mandated its committees on solid minerals development, commerce, industry, and special duties to investigate the increment of cement prices by the manufacturers and report back within 4 weeks for further legislative action.
Now to security matters. Bandits who abducted 16 residents of Goningora area of Kaduna metropolis have demanded a ransom of 40 trillion naira for their release. Bandits attacked the Goningora community, a suburb of Kaduna metropolis in the Chukun local government area on Wednesday, February 28, kidnapping 16 residents. According to reports, beside the 40 trillion naira, the bandits also demanded 11 Hilux vans and 150 motorcycles for the release of the 16 people they are holding captive. In a similar development, kidnappers of the Kaduna school children have contacted a spokesman for the families of the hostages, demanding a total of 1 billion naira for the release of the pupils and students. According to reports, the kidnappers also have vowed to kill the students and staff in 20 days if their demand is not met. On the 7th of March, bandits attacked the Kuriga community in Chukun local government area of Kaduna State and kidnapped 287 pupils and students of a primary and secondary school, including some teachers. Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu has directed security agencies and the Ministry of Defense that no ransom should be paid by the government to the kidnappers for the release of the abducted persons. The Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, has assured the general public that hostages in the den of kidnappers will be rescued by the Nigerian military in no distant time. He also blamed authorities for not reporting incidents of mass abduction on time. Speaking in an exclusive interview with our defense correspondent, Godwin Amunde, General Buba said though the hostages have been moved to difficult locations, it is not impossible to get them.
The mass kidnapping in Kuriga was the third in northern Nigeria since last week. A group of gunmen abducted 15 children from a school in another northwestern state. A few days earlier, 200 people, mostly women and children displaced by conflict, were kidnapped in northeastern Borno State. Bandits also kidnapped 16 people from Goningora area of Kaduna State. Major General Edward Buba is the Director of Defense Media Operations.
For that in the northeast, where the internal displaced persons left the camp without the approval or knowledge of the camp authorities, and they also went beyond the permissible distance for which, if they are to go beyond that, the military must be notified. In that instance, they left early in the morning, and it was at about 20-30 hours, which is 8 p.m. in the evening, before the camp authorities notified the military that certain internal displaced persons had not returned to camp, haven't left the camp since in the morning. It was at that time that the military got to know that an abduction had taken place by the terrorists. In the situation in Sokoto, very similar.
Though the hostages have been moved to difficult location, there are assurances that they will be rescued by the Nigerian military.
Similarly, in the case in Kuriga, Kaduna State, where students were abducted, the event that was to take place, the military was not notified prior. And then when the abduction took place, the military got to know hours after. So if you look at these situations, you will know that the common denomination in them is the failure to notify the military on time in order for us to be able to carry out speedy search and rescue, and even, if possible, the rescue of the hostages even, before it takes place. But be that as it may, the situation has already occurred. Like I always say, war is full of complexities and ugly incidences, and that war which we are experiencing in Nigeria is not an exception. And like I've mentioned earlier, that we will not rest until these hostages are recovered and returned back to their homes.
The joint task force operational effort across the various theaters have been decisive in curtailing terrorists and their nefarious activities. Abuja, Godwin Amundi, Rapid Television News.
Again, gunmen suspected to be kidnappers on Tuesday morning attacked the University of Nigeria Nsukka Teaching Hospital, Ituku Ozala, in Imo State. The female deputy director of nursing services and a security man were taken away by the hoodlums. It was the second time this year that gunmen would attack the institution. The Rivers State Police Command has discovered and exhumed the corpse of a divisional police officer in charge of Ahoda Police Station in Ahoda East local government area of the state, Bako Angbashim, 6 months after he was murdered by cultists. Angbashim, a superintendent of police, was gruesomely murdered by a cult gang on September 8, 2023 at Odiemude community in Ahoda East local government area of the state. The command, in a statement issued in Port Harcourt during the week, said Bako's grave was discovered near a shrine within the forested region of Odiemude community. It said the recovered remains of the late DPO have been taken to the mortuary where it will undergo scientific examination and genetic testing. The Registrar General of the Corporate Affairs Commission, Hussaini Ishaq Magaji, has pledged to collaborate with critical stakeholders and customers so as to ensure that the Commission enhances its service delivery chain. He made the pledge during a session in Abuja.
The session was held with the aim of familiarizing, exchanging ideas on the way forward in enhancing efficient and effective service delivery that satisfies the yearning and aspiration of all stakeholders. However, the Registrar General of the Corporate Affairs Commission said the agency is faced with a big gap between the registration process and compliance amid post-registration expectation.
The Commission has also initiated the process of reviewing our operational checklist to bring it up to speed with international best practices. This will go a long way in simplifying our processes and also reduce the time cycle for our services and product delivery. We are also recognizing the call center for the purpose of making it a response center that will attend to customer complaints and inquiries within 24 hours.
Meanwhile, the chairman of the Nigerian Bar Association, Abuja chapter, Afam Okeke, presented a series of complaints on the network issues faced by the customers and expressed the hope that it will be addressed urgently.
After this interaction and familiarization, the Commission should be able to go back and improve on what they are doing and render more better services to their users.
Responding to the complaints, the Corporate Affairs Commission Registrar General said the Commission will continue to engage with software vendors to improve the areas that require urgent attention that will make the company's registration process perform optimally and avoid delay in service delivery.
They identify the issues of glitches and other things. We are identifying the problem now in order to provide a prompt solution to the issues.
Irene Okechukwu, Rapid TV News, Abuja.
In fostering price stabilization, food productivity, and security within the agricultural sector in the country, the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has allocated 2.15 million bags of fertilizers and 100 billion naira to the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security to support Nigerian farmers. The governor of the CBN, Olayemi Kadoso, made the disclosure during a courtesy visit to the Minister of Agriculture and Food Security at the ministry headquarters in Abuja.
According to the governor of Central Bank of Nigeria, the aim is to extend support and foster closer ties with government agencies with a mandate to undertake critical initiatives that will enhance food productivity and security in the country.
To strengthen our collaboration with the Ministry of Agriculture with a shared objective of mitigating the surge in food prices. We aim to enhance our partnership with the Ministry of Agriculture, thereby bolstering your endeavors to enhance food productivity and security, ultimately curbing food inflation and fortifying our pursuit of price stability.
Meanwhile, the Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Senator Abubakar Kyari, appreciated President Bola Tinubu and the Central Bank of Nigerian governor for the support to the Nigerian farmers and assured that the fertilizers will be judiciously used.
We need to work together, collaborate, like you said, so that we see how we can lift Nigeria out of the present food crisis that we find ourselves.
Irene Okechukwu, Rapid TV News, Abuja.
This is Rapid Television. You are still watching Week in Review. Stay with us as we will return after this break. Welcome back, and thank you so much for staying with us. And if you are just joining us, you are watching Rapid Television's Week in Review, coming to you from our Abuja studio. Traders and business centers operators at the Michael Okpara University of Agriculture, Umuduike, have decried low patronage following the indefinite shutdown of the institution over protests by its students. Our correspondent, Onwuka Kingsley, who visited the institution, tells us more.
Closure of Michael Okpara University have had its effects on local businesses in the university community, particularly the keke drivers and traders within the university premises. In a series of interviews with keke drivers, they expressed the deep concern over the impact of the school closure on their livelihood.
Economically, the thing affected us because it is a source of our income, and we deal with students. And now that students are not on ground, it must surely affect us. So
for the past how many months now? I guess a month, and we've been just here managing every situation that we are seeing, because as you can see, all of us are just packed. Some are even sleeping because there is no work going on. Sometimes you stay on the line for like 3 to 4 hours, no passenger, and it's really affecting us seriously.
It was because the students where we managed to hold ourselves, they are not around. So we just now this staff where they work inside, now then we carry and hold ourselves. Now if you go out, even for outside, there is no passenger. You will go town, carry 2 passengers, go town, come back without this. So that money where we go get now just money for fuel and this.
Also speaking with the traders operating within the university premises, they reviewed the challenges faced, stating that survival have become a daily battle.
Turnout now is not like before, understand? Normally before, when we come here, you normally snap like maybe about 10, but now we barely snap one, even 1 self or 2. We hardly snap 1, or sometimes we not even snap anything and go. Not doing anything, and even our rent itself is even running out. Understand? And that thing now, that 2 months interval now is a big loss to us.
Actually, it's affecting our business by a number of turn-up you are making in a day.
In fact, my business is going down due to no sales. No sales. So the little, if I come out, at times 500, 1,000. My dear, how we hear John Wekuo? I make sales enough. But 1,500, even if I get it, I will be jumping up because at least it will solve problem for that day.
When contacted, Registrar Michael Okpara University in Kiruka, Mbanaso, stated that the assessment of the situation regarding the protest damage is still ongoing and the school resumption will be determined by the federal government.
Yes, it's a well-known fact that Michael Okpara University of Agriculture was shut down as a result of a riot caused by the students. Due to the incident, the university was shut down. The federal government was also informed. So currently, there's no academic activities going on. And a committee was set up. So far, they are at the verge of submitting the report, and we are waiting for that report to come in.
Mbanaso added that the school closure will affect her academic calendar.
But surprisingly, the students ended up distorting streamline their calendar, and it's going to affect them. But I may not say much until federal government decides when we are going to open, after we have submitted the report.
Meanwhile, Abia State Governor Alex Oti had met with the school management led by Madu ABBC of 4 Iwe, where he charged them to be open-minded in their investigation to ascertain the root cause of the recent protest by the students of the institution, which led to the closure of the school. As the university community await further development, the struggle for keke drivers and traders continued, painting a vivid picture of the broader economic implication of academic disruption. Onwuka Kingsley, Rapid TV News, Omaya.
Also in the week, the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities and the Non-Academic Staff Union declared a 7-day warning strike. The union said the declaration was made to demand the payment of 4 months of withheld salaries of their members by the federal government after the 2022 nationwide strike. The unions also said the action was to protest the government's failure to fulfill its promises to the workers. Major internet access cuts struck several African countries due to damage to international undersea cables supplying them with connectivity, as banks and telecommunication companies operating in Nigeria were down with internet outages. It was learned that the damage affected major undersea cables near Abidjan in Cote d'Ivoire, which caused downtime across West and South African countries. Consequently, some bank networks in Nigeria were down and unable to process transactions as a result of the cyberspace interruption, while telecom users complain of poor data experience. And to the international scene, Joe Biden and rival Donald Trump each won enough delegates to clinch their party nominations in the 2024 presidential race, setting up one of the longest election campaigns in U.S. history. Biden crossed the threshold of 1,968 delegates needed when he won Georgia, while Trump's victory in Washington helped him secure the 1,215 delegates needed to end the Republican nomination. The pair now head for a rematch of their 2020 showdown. And now to sport. FIFA has announced that Qatar will stage the next 5 editions of the Boys Under-17 World Cup from 2025 to 2029, while the girls' tournament is set to be played in Morocco. FIFA said both youth tournaments will be held annually starting next year, with the boys' event expanding from 24 to 48 teams, while the number of girls' teams involved will also increase from 16 to 24. FIFA said the decision to choose a single host nation for multiple editions centered on the ability to make use of existing footballing infrastructure in the interest of tournament efficiencies and sustainability. The expansion of the Under-17 World Cup reflects a general FIFA trend, with the Men's 2026 World Cup to feature 48 teams for the first time, while last year's Women's World Cup in Australia and New Zealand saw the field grow from 24 to 32 countries. And with that, we conclude the week in review for Saturday, 16th March 2024. We hope to be back same time next week with another edition. Thanks for staying with us.